Thanks so much for allowing me to talk a little bit about my book and having me introduce myself and inform you of what eco-ability is. So eco-ability came about when I started thinking about animal rights and disability rights. And then I started saying, I looked at disability studies, which is a field that I do a lot of work in. And then I said, let's look at critical animal studies and how does critical animal studies and disability studies interweave, and the theories and the critical concepts relate to each other through an intersectional manner. So wow, that's great, but it was missing something. And what it was missing was the ecological discussion and the social construction of, quote, nature, right? So that's why the title of the book is Earth, Animal, and Disability Liberation, The Rise of Eco-Ability Movement, which I have the great pleasure and honor of co-editing with my friends Judy and Janet at SUNY Cortland in the field of education down there. So why liberation versus studies, pedagogy, or rights? The reason is we wanted to make sure that it becomes a movement rather than intersections. And so that's when we began to really emphasize the liberation and the challenging of systems of domination from everything from capitalism to the agriculture-industrial complex and transnational corporations and normalcy and the prison industrial complex. So I'm really excited to really briefly break down what eco-ability is, and then we can take comments and questions. So I had the privilege of informing you already of what eco-ability is. It's animal liberation, disability liberation, and earth liberation, an intersection of all three of them. Okay, and so these movements, right, which are marginalized, radical, and fairly new within the field of social movement politics. Animal liberation challenges speciesism, right? The marginalization of anything that is non-human, right? Ableism is the reinforcement of what is disabled and what is not disabled, right? And civilization, and what is the construction of civilization? Civilization being over there, and savages, what's wild is over here, and we can see the binary that's kind of played out. So the binary is domestic versus wild for the earth liberation struggle that they're trying to deconstruct and then destroy, right? The disability liberation movement is trying to challenge normal versus abnormal, and what is abnormal, be it physical or mental or cognitive. And then finally, the animal liberation movement is trying to challenge what is human versus what is animal. And there's many fields and many concepts that say, I'm human, and these are the animals, and I'm studying the animal as an object from a detached approach. We're not assuming that we have domination over the, quote, non-human animals. And so when we look at the interwoven relationship between all of them, we find out that what is over here, the savage, the abnormal, the wild, have been demonized, marginalized, and stigmatized in many of the same ways. And the individuals over here, the human, the normal, the domestic, are classically the white, able-bodied, heterosexual Christian from a formally educated, wealthy background. And so this is the binary, and these are the individuals that construct the binary to benefit the binary, right? They benefit from the binary of marginalizing anything that is wild, right? What is different, what is other. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today and try to open up the discussion. So now we can begin and have some discussion about, what is eco-ability, and hopefully from this discussion and many other discussions that I'll have hopefully at other universities and colleges, that eco-ability will move forward, like the environmental justice movement and like the ecofeminist movement and many other movements that are intersectional to challenge the elitism, the domination within our society, throughout nature, and the domination of non-human animals, people with disabilities, and the ecological world. So thank you so much. We can begin the conversation now.